Thanks. All right, I'm going to try to get through this. They made me sign a disclaimer, so hopefully you won't be hurt, or me. When I heard the theme was about 2 seconds after I walked in here tonight, and I thought, at my age, if your life hasn't been altered at least a dozen times, then you're really boring. So I had to narrow it down, because really, I could talk till tomorrow morning about how many times my life has been altered. So I was thinking mostly is that my life was altered growing up here, you know, not just in New Orleans, but around Louisiana. You really, if you don't get out enough, you really kind of think this is how people live. And even though my dad did take us on road trips and all this stuff, you know, really did not have that experience, you know, like some people do who get to go skiing. That was like something we didn't really get to do, and things like that, or travel overseas. So like in my early 20s, I decided to leave my night job. Now, I'd never been to college. I'd actually dropped out of high school, so not a whole lot of worldly experience. And I decided that I would go with, I was working nights in a hospital doing computers. This was long before PCs or anything, okay? And I took off with the respiratory therapist guy. We decided, and a few other people, and a friend of mine who had just quit being a nun, oddly, like a week after she met me. And I don't know, this strange group of people, and we decided we'll move to Boston area because they have really low unemployment. So we kind of moved there, and we kind of live all over. Part of it was like in this little peninsula I live, different places. And like, you know, we just learned things. Like I learned that you shouldn't camp in Vermont in October in the mountains. And that, you know, nothing that we owned was prepare us for the winter. Like socks with your Birkenstocks. I mean, not Birkenstocks, sorry. That was the nun. Socks with your Hirashis was not a winter outfit. So, you know, we had some problems and stuff. But I made my way. And if any of you have ever been to Cambridge, Massachusetts, it's the Republic of Cambridge. It's way offbeat, too, in another world, in another universe. And it's there where I came out the closet fully and, you know, like really lived my life completely different from here and, you know, didn't use styrofoam and, you know, and breathe in chemicals on a regular basis and actually protested and, like, tried to change things and didn't just assume that politicians just were gods. And then I decided to keep living there, and I lived there for 18 years. And then another altering moment, my brother died along the way, and he had said to me at some point, years before he died, "Don't worry, I love living in Slidell, and I will take care of Mom and Dad when they get old. You just got to take them a couple of weeks in the summer." Well, if your siblings ever say this to you, don't bank on it, okay? Because then he goes off on this trip to Africa for work, and he has a brain aneurysm, and he dies. And it's very sad, but it was a very long time ago. But I knew at that moment, oh shit, my life is going to change because I'm going to have to come back. So many years later, I come back. I move back to New Orleans area, and I somehow stupidly think, well, things have probably really changed, and it's going to be a lot like Cambridge. No, not at all. Not at all. You know, and of course, I listened to my cousin Angie from the parish, you know, who is, you know, oh, it's, yeah, everybody's out. It's like this, like that. No. So I move into Bayou St. John neighborhood with my friend Kyle, who 20-some-odd years earlier we had met doing youth ministry together in the Catholic Church. So he tells me his first floor tenant, Dave, hang out with Dave because he knows all the lesbians. So so Dave tells me I had only been back here like a few weeks. Also, just want to point out this wasn't like maybe a year before Katrina. That was another bad thing. But so I'm there, and so Dave says, "Hey, do you want to go to this fundraiser thing tonight? My friend Melanie is having this big birthday." We'll leave that number out. And it's going to be at this place, the Rock and Bowl, you know, which I said, sure, why not? So on our way there, I'm driving my brother's truck, who had died like a decade earlier, but the truck was still going. And we pull up, and he said it was some sort of Elvis impersonation night. And I said, and I hope I don't offend anybody here, I said it must be a fundraiser for mentally retarded adults because I don't know, but when you work in programs down here at mentally retarded adults, there's something about that and bowling and Elvis. I don't know what it is. And when I lived up north and my friends worked for a group called Nexus that worked with mentally retarded adults, there was always Elvis and bowling. So I don't know what that is, but he thought I was a bad person until we walked in the door and this very nice kid with Down syndrome came up to us in a jumpsuit as an Elvis impersonator. And then I was still like very new back here, okay? And I probably even thought they had vegan things on the menu at Rock and Bowl. But we get there and all I know is this woman comes up to me. Her name's Barb. She's not here tonight. And she says, hey, and Dave introduces me, and it's like, oh, another lesbian. And she says, oh, come with all the other lesbians, and you have to see my partner. She's going to be on stage performing. And so she drags me to the stage, and there's this woman who's tall, thin, looks very much like this woman over there, and is very drunk with a rubber Elvis wig on, doing a really bad imitation of Viva Las Vegas. And anyway, so I meet them, and she seems very proud about her girlfriend being up there doing all this. Meantime, Dave signs up for a painting of Elvis on a silent auction, which he puts down $300 like he really thought somebody was going to bid higher. So we leave that night. I have some new gay friends. We've got a giant painting of Elvis to put in the back of the truck. And I call my friend Yanni, who lives in Cambridge and performs up there, if anybody's up there, Yanni Beto. Anyway, and I call her and I say, I think it's going to be okay here because I met this really nice woman tonight who seemed to be really together, and she introduced me to her girlfriend, who I think has some special needs. And I'm thinking, it won't be too hard for me to meet somebody here. Anyway.